this training. So today I'm going to be introducing you to Osha, and also I'm going to be talking about employees' right under Osha, as well as the responsibilities of employers under Osha. But first, let me introduce you to who we are. We are Osha Safety Consults, and we started way back in 2009. We have our head office in Abuja, and we're the authorized training provider of Osha Academy USA. Now the certificate you see there is our certificate of authorization, and the name you are seeing there, Twitchy System Limited, is the name we answered before we became Osha Safety Consult. And now to buttress our relevance in this business and how well known we are, this is Day United Food, popular makers of the maker of the popular Indomie. We are one of their authorized consultant. We do consultation services for them. So this to buttress how well known we are in the industry. Then also, this is NSE, Nigeria Society of Engineers. We are equally a major HSE consultant for them. We run HSE consultation services for them. And then this is NYC. We partner with NYC all the way from Abuja. So we've been dealing with corpers for a very long time, even before we came to Delta State. Now this is our vision, our mission, and our core values. So in the course of the training, like I said, I'll be introducing you to Osha. Some of the topics we'll be dealing with is: why is Osha important to you? What rights do you have under Osha? What responsibility does your employer have under Osha? What do the Osha standards say? How are Osha inspections conducted? Where can you go for help? So now, Osha began because until the 1970, there were no national laws for safety and health hazards. On average, 15 workers die every day from job-related injuries. Over 5,600 persons die from work-related injuries annually, and over 4 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illnesses were reported. Now, what this whole is trying to tell you about is that way back, right from the 1970s, there were no safety laws. Now, employees were working for employers, and in the course of their jobs, they sustained injuries. Some even die in the course of the job. And now there is nothing that is being done about it. Employers care less about the safety of their workers. So it was due to this not caring for the safety of workers, as at 1970, that led to an agitation. A group of workers came together and started agitating that, look, we work for you, we make money for you, hence our safety should be your concern. So as at 1971, their plight was heard and the Osha Act was formed. The Osha Act entails all the rules and regulations regarding the safety of the workers, and also the responsibility on employers regarding the safety of their workers, and also the rights of workers regarding their safety as well. Now, the word Osha could simply stand for 3 things. Now, Osha first of all stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Now, this is the US-based agency that brought about safety. It is the Osha agency in US that brought about safety. So the reason you hear safety today is as a result of that agitation that took place way back in 1970 that gave birth to Osha. So now every training or whatever that is being done regarding safety has to be on Osha standard. And that is what this organization does, this agency does, maintaining the safety and health standard. It's an agency in US, and also this OSHA could also mean Occupational Safety and Health Association. Now this association is the body across almost every country responsible for maintaining the OSHA standard. Now once you are a member of this association, here in Nigeria they call them Osha, Membership of Occupational Safety and Health Association. Once you are a member, what they do is, if maybe you work and in the course of your work you sustain injury or disabilities and there are compensations you are supposed to be paid and your company is refusing to pay you and you are a member of this association, you simply just run to them and they will take up the case and ensure that all your entitlements are given to you. Then also it could also mean Occupational Safety and Health Academy, which is the OSHA Academy you will hear about. And this is an aspect that deals with the training of individuals and workers on safety, as well as certifying individuals to become safety professionals. So the OSHA Act was signed on December 29, 1970, and this Act created OSHA, the agency, which formally came into being on April 28, 1971. So that is how come about safety. Now, what is OSHA mission? The mission of OSHA is simply to save lives, prevent injuries, and protect the health of workers. Some of the things OSHA does to carry out this mission are develop job safety and health standard and enforcing them through worksite inspection, meaning they carry out inspection of workplaces to ensure that the safety of workers are being maintained and their standards are being maintained as well. Now, maintaining a reporting and record keeping system to keep track of job-related injuries and illness. So they keep record of all job-related injury and illnesses during their inspections. Also provide training programs to increase knowledge about occupational safety and health. Like I said, that's where the academic aspect comes in, to train and certify people on safety and health. Now these are some work-related injuries. You see that man there who just slumped and died, could be as a result of excess stress or being overworked. And also you see this woman who is sleeping on a slippery floor and the man working with a machine who got injured. So all these are work example of work-related injuries. Now, what do you stand to benefit in doing this program? One of the benefits is that you have the opportunity of getting a job, career advancement. Now, like I said, an example is the case study of Dangote. Dangote as a company has a large safety department. People have been employed to work as safety officers, safety supervisors and personnel. Also, some companies around you, like ShopRite and the rest of them, they all have safety departments. Even little companies as dredging companies, where a friend of mine is working, they all have safety departments. So with this certificate, you have the opportunity of getting a job and advancing your career in safety. Also, another thing is that you can do your postgraduate and master degree abroad. With our certificates, you have the privilege of doing your masters abroad on safety and even getting a 10% discount on tuition. So that's one of the benefits. Then also is a key requirement to join the OSHA association. Now, one of the first requirements to become an OSHA association member is your OSHA certificate. So once you get the certificate, you are good to go to become a member, provided you meet up with your other requirement as well. Then topic 2, so what right do you have under OSHA? Now these are the rights workers have under OSHA. As a worker, you have the right to a safe and healthful workplace. The place you are going to work, it should be healthy, it should be free from every form of hazard. You have the right. If you observe that the place that you are being subjected to work is not safe, is carrying some form of hazard, you have the right to complain to your employers. Let them know that this place is unsafe and something should be done about it before you can continue with your work. It is your right. So you have a right to a safe and healthful workplace. Also, know about the hazards in the workplace. You have to know about the hazards that are associated with the work you are going to do. The employers, the employers have the responsibility of letting you know about the hazards that are associated with the work that you are going to do. So every information regarding any hazard on the work you are going to do, the information should be passed to you. Now also, information about injury and illnesses in your workplace. You have the right to information about injuries and illnesses in your workplace. Any injury that occurs that is recorded, you should have that record to know. This helps to give you more insight on the department you are working. For instance, you are working in a department, or you want to work in a company, and the department you are working, after going through the record injury and illness book, you saw that department, a lot of injury has been recorded in the past, and there are certain things that leads to that injury. With that awareness, when you go to that department to work, you try and guide against the mistakes that those people made that led to those injuries. So that was one of the things that the information of injury and illness record helps to do for you. Now also, you have the right to complain or request hazard correction from employer. If you find out that the place that you are being subjected to work has a form of hazard, or you are being exposed to certain kind of hazard, you have the right to go to your employer and complain to them. Let them know of the hazard as you told where you are working, and that a correction should be made. Then the next one is training. Training is talking about creating awareness, safety awareness for your employees, training them on the hazard that is associated with the job and how they can mitigate the effect, or probably stay away from being victims of the hazards that they are likely working with. So the next one is hazard exposure and medical records. Now, if there is a form of, in the course of the job, found out that the workers are being exposed to certain form of hazard, those hazards that cannot be eliminated, you ensure that every once in a while a medical record is carried out on every employer. This is to check if any form of exposure is being recorded in any of the workers. So after doing this medical check, it is also expected that you give the workers access to go through these records. Then also you have the right to file a complaint with Osha. For instance, where you are working, you notice that there are certain form of hazards that you have been exposed to. You've complained to your employers and they are doing nothing about it. You have the right to go to Osha to file a complaint, and they will take up the matter. Then also participate in an Osha inspection. Now you are supposed to partake in insurance when you are the one working with the hazard at the place where hazards are likely present. So you are the one that know the hazards better, because I don't want to come in contact with them. So you know where to point to. So when the Osha inspection is about to take place, you are expected to participate, go with them, point out the likely hazards, and help them to identify them so that they can be corrected. Then also you have the right to be free from retaliation for exercising safety and health rights. Maybe for instance, you are working in a company and you notice that you are being exposed to hazard, you made complaint for correction, employers refused to do anything about it. So you went on to file a complaint with Osha. Osha comes, maybe find the company and give them some form of penalties. Then as a result, your employer decided that since you went on to report them, they start retaliating against you. Maybe you are due for promotion, they refuse to give you the promotion, some entitlement you are supposed to have, they deprive you of them. You can go back to Osha and let them, but you are being retaliated against as a result of a report that you made, and Osha will come and equally take up the case. So you have the right to be free from every form of retaliation under Osha law. Now these are the same thing we have been talking about Safe and healthy workplace. You have the right to safe and healthy workplace. Right to work in a place free from every form of recognized hazard. Also, you have the right to know about the hazardous chemical hazards related to your workplace. Your employer should inform you of the hazards that are related with your job. One of the ways those information can be passed is through container labeling. In this case, you will see where the information regarding the chemicals in a container are being written on the surface of that container. For instance, like you see things like your sniper or your raid that you use in fighting mosquito. You will see that in the containers of those things, the body of those containers, you see where they are written so many informations regarding the product that is inside and the hazards that it carries. So in such container, the employer should ensure that all those containers containing hazardous chemical are well labeled. The hazard that they carried are labeled on the body, the effect of those hazards, and the targeted organs, as well as if there is a quick remedy. The quick remedy all should be labeled out in the body of that container. So one of the ways that information can be passed regarding the hazard related to work is by labeling containers that contain form of hazard. Let the container contain those hazards that the person is likely to be exposed to, and how and every other necessary information. Then the next one is the materials safety data sheet. Now this is a more elaborate document that carries every single detail that the hazard in that container carries, or the hazard in that material you are working with carries. You are going to be listing out every single detail. In this document, I'm going to tell you about the hazards that are present, the effects, the targeted organ, the behavior that occur if you are being exposed, every single detail. If there is an instant remedy, they are going to be telling you the instant remedy. If there are those that should not be using it, they are also going to let you know every single details. An example of this data sheet is those sheet of paper you see inside drugs, those carton of drugs. If you check inside, you are going to see a small sheet of paper containing so many instructions, every single detail containing that drug. So people go as far as using up to 3 or 4 different languages to interpret all those things. So that document you see in that drawing is what they refer to as material data sheet. So you have the right to know all these things, and those are some of the way that that this information can be passed. Hazardous information related to your workplace can be passed. Another way is through training and sensitization. Now, information about injury and illnesses. Osha also expect you to have access to the injuries and illness record book. Now, what this thing does to you is that if, for instance, the place you are working, you are being exposed to some hazards that cannot be eliminated, your company is expected to carry out a form of medical examinations. Now, by doing so, they will be able to tell if you are being affected due to exposure to those chemicals, and also you should be given access to those logbooks to know the injury that are being involved, and also one of the things that helps to prevent further occurrences. Now, having access to those injury and record books can tell you more about the department you are going to work, where the injuries that are related with it and what led to it, and how you can prevent yourself from becoming victims of such illnesses and injuries as well. Now, there's a complaint or request correction. These are the same thing we've talked about. To find out that where you are working it has a certain kind of hazard, you should request or complain to your employer for correction. And also, as a worker, you have the right not to be discriminated or retaliated against when you make these reports. So So that's what that is talking about. Then training should also be carried out to employees for sensitization and awareness on the hazards they are likely to be exposed to. Now these are some examples of hazards. We have the biological, the chemical, the physical, and the mechanical hazard. Now this is a case of a lady, two ladies. One of them is complaining that, so my husband complained that I rarely feel in the mood for love anymore. Could it be this chemical we use at work? While the other is complaining that since I started working here, I have been under a lot of stress and my period has become irregular. What this is I'm trying to tell you is that you should be aware of the hazard related to your work. Now, some of these hazards, when you get exposed to them, the effects may not be immediate. It may not be immediate. It could be later, years later, before you start feeling the effect of those exposure. So it is very important that the information about the hazards related to the work you are doing should be passed on to you so that you know better how to protect yourself. Now there is a case study some years back when I was doing my IT back in school. I did my IT in a diagnostic center where they carry out X-rays. So the owner of the place was trying to enlighten us on the need to put on the lead jacket, which is a protective PPE against the rays that are being emitted in the course of carrying out the X-ray. Now, excess exposure to those X-rays could lead to impotency. So that was the point the man was trying to make towards him. So he gave us an example of a friend some years ago that he had a boy. He brought a boy from the village who was working with him in his radiological lab. Now, when this man wanted to take an X-ray, due to negligence, he would just tell, after him putting on the lead jacket, due to negligence, he would just tell the boy that is assisting him to maybe stay behind the door or just stay at the corner. Then he would take his X-ray. Now, this boy staying behind the door, he was being exposed to some amount of X-rays without knowing. So many years later, this boy became a businessman, made money, decided to get married, got married and started having issues with bearing children. So it became an issue and they went to the hospital to lay complaint. They did some investigation on them, and they found out that the man was impotent. Now, they started questioning the man, have you had any contact with X-rays in the past or at any time? The man said yes, many years ago while he was working with a man back in Osha or somewhere around the place. So they told him that it was due to an exposure that he has accumulated a large amount of X-rays, and due to that exposure is what led to the impotency. And that the man was very angry that he was not aware, he was not told. He was angry and he took up the case, went to court, informed the necessary bodies, and the man the license of the man who was seized, and he was also fined some money as well. So this is the point I'm trying to make, is that you have to be aware of the hazard associated with the work you are doing, because some of them you may not know, but they are having effect on you. On a long run, the effects will begin to manifest and you begin to wonder where it's coming from. You have some people beginning to catch people winch and the guys going to church and others, not knowing that it was a job that you did, some exposure to certain hazard a long time ago is leading to those issues, and not wishes or wizard, not running from church to church. So that's the point this place is trying to make to us. Now, medical record books as well say example of toxic substances and harmful physical agents are mental and dust such as lead, cadmium, and silica. Biological agents such as bacteria, viruses, and fungi. All this could be form of hazard that you can be exposed to in regard to your work. Here you have physical stress such as noise, heat, cold, vibration, repetitive motion, and ionizing and non-ionizing radiation. Now, we also spoke about filing a complaint. You can file a complaint if you feel where you are working there is an imminent danger or there is a hazardous situation. You can file a complaint to Osha. Then, when filing this complaint, workers may also request and their name not be revealed to try and protect themselves against every form of retaliation. Now, I say if a worker files a complaint, they have the right to find out OSHA's action on those complaints and request review if an inspection is not made. Maybe you find a complaint about 2 months ago and OSHA have not come for inspection. You can go back and check, go for a review to know why they have not come and try to make sure they come. Then participate in OSHA inspection. When OSHA inspectors come, it's expected that the workers, those working in that place, take part in the inspection because you are the one working in the place. You are the one that know more the hazards are being exposed to. So you are the one that can point them out for OSHA to take actions in curtailing them. Then, like I said, you also have the right to be free from retaliation. Should in case, according to OSHA section 11C, OSHA Act section 11C, you have the right to be free from retaliation as a result of exercising your safety, your health and safety rights. Then move forward. What responsibility does your employer have under OSHA? Now, all employers are empowered with the responsibility of keeping the workplace free from recognized hazard and to comply with OSHA standard. As an employer, OSHA expects that the workplace that you are subjecting your workers to should be free from every form of recognized hazard, and all the OSHA standards and laws should be followed in keeping that workplace safe and free from health and safety issues. Now, also they have the responsibility to provide training required by OSHA standard. Now, these are the standards we are giving. Provide training. Now, the essence of this training is to sensitize your workers on the need of being safe and also to create awareness on the hazard they are likely to face regarding their job and how they can guide against them. Then also they say keep record of injuries and illnesses. Every injury and illnesses should be recorded and kept. So that when OSHA inspector come, you can show them to them and they will act on them. Then also employers are expected to provide medical examination when required by OSHA standard and provide worker access to this inspection and medical record. Like we said earlier, employers are expected to carry out medical examinations for their workers, especially those workers that are being exposed to hazard despite having PPE or whatever. Those hazards that could not be eliminated. You know that you have a company where they have to work with the hazard regardless. For instance, the X-ray department, the diagnosis center department that carry out X-rays. Now we know that those X-rays are hazardous and they have a tendency to cause harm. But you cannot carry out those jobs without the X-ray, which means the hazard cannot be eliminated. So what do? You use PPE to protect yourself against the risk. Now sometimes those PPE may not be enough to actually protect against, give you total protection. So in these cases, it is expected that the employer has carried out medical examination once in a while to check for the health of their workers and to ensure that they are not being affected by the exposure in any way. And also when these examinations are done, it is expected that the workers have access to this medical record so that they can know the state of their health. Then also not discriminate against workers who exercise their rights under OSHA Act Section 11C, or what we have been talking about. You should not retaliate against a worker who exercises their rights. They tell you about a hazard, or maybe they report you, and you start retaliating against them, discriminating them, and all that. OSHA do not expect employers to do that. Then post-OSHA citation and abatement verification notices. The essence of this is to create awareness on safety and how to be safe and all that. Then provide and pay for PPE. PPE is personal protective equipment. So it is expected that the employers will provide all their workers with all this personal protective equipment to carry out their jobs. Now also employers are required to keep record of injury and illnesses. So reporting and recording checklists. Employer must report each worker's death, report each incident that hospitalizes 3 or more workers, maintain injury and illness records, inform workers how to report an injury or illness to the employer, make records available to workers, allow Osha access to this record, and post annual summary of illnesses and injuries. Now, also, employees are required to provide and pay for PPE for their workers, like we said the other time. Then, topic 5 is how are OSHA inspection conducted. So the OSHA Act authorizes OSHA compliance, safety and health supervisor to conduct workplace inspection at reasonable times. Now, it is expected that OSHA will carry out inspection. OSHA will come to your work site and do safety inspection to ensure that the work environment is healthy and safe for your workers to work. And I said OSHA conduct inspection without advance notice except in rare circumstances. Now, the reason they don't notify you is because if they should notify you, there are some certain hazards that you may just cover the surface, and when they come, they will not be able to see them. So they take you unaware in order to uncover every single hazard that is related to your work. Then they said, in fact, anyone who tells an employer about an OSHA inspection in advance can receive fine and jail term. So those are the penalties. If you should inform an employer that OSHA is coming for inspection and they find that, you could receive fine and as much as being jailed as well. Now, these are OSHA inspection priority. Priority 1 is talking of imminent danger. Once there is an imminent danger, OSHA acts immediately. They may contact you, they may not contact you, but once they have been informed of an imminent danger somewhere, they will come. Their reason for coming is to help you curtail the situation. Then the second priority is fatality and catastrophe. Once a fatality or catastrophe is being reported to OSHA, they carry out their inspection as soon as possible. Then the third priority is complaint on referral. So workers or worker representative can file a complaint about a safety or health hazard. Now, in some cases, maybe a worker can be working in a company and is being exposed to certain form of hazard. And now maybe this worker is living with the wife and maybe the family, and they are noticing that the effect of the hazard is being exposed to is making him ill, probably cough profusely. Now they've told this guy to complain, and because maybe he's scared or something, he's refusing to go and complain to the employers or maybe complain to OSHA. Now the parents or the wife or whatever can go on his behalf to OSHA to lay a complaint to OSHA and say, okay, my son or my husband is working with a company, and we have noticed that since he started working with that company, it seems he's been exposed to certain hazard and he has been coughing profusely. Please, you people should do something about it. OSHA will act based on that referred complaint, and they will make sure such cases are handled. Then the fourth priority is their program inspection. This is an annual or time to time inspection that they carry out to uncover employers with high injuries and illness rate and all that. Then finally, there is citation and penalty. This is talking about the penalties for violating OSHA's law. The first category there is willful violation. This willful violation is talking about a situation where the employer intentionally and knowingly violates a law, an OSHA law. This willful violation could incur penalty as much as $17,000 or a minimum penalty of $5,000. So it ranges from $5,000 to $17,000 depending on the nature of the violation. Then the next one is serious. The serious violation is where there is a substantial probability that death or serious physical harm could result, and that the employer knew or should have known of this hazard. So what this is talking about is that if the intention is not there, probably the employer may not have the intention of these things happening. Maybe he should have known or he did not know. But this form of violation could lead to a very serious physical harm or death. This can result in a penalty of as much as $7,000. They say other than serious is when the situation will not be will not be causing death or serious health issues. It would also incur a penalty of as much as $7,000. Then repeated is talking about a violation that is the same or similar to previous violation. You are repeating the violation, something that they've warned you of, you did it again. They warned you, you did it again. So such repeated violation could lead to penalties of as much as $70,000 for each of those repetitions. So we'll be ending here for today. Next up, we'll be going into safety supervision. We'll be talking about hazard identification, hazard correction, and JHA, job hazard analysis. Now, in conclusion, what this whole lesson is trying to talk about is trying to expose you to what Osha is and how the rights that workers have under Osha, as well as the responsibility that is being passed on employers. Now, it is expected that as a safety personnel, you have this knowledge. Now, if you are in that general WhatsApp group, there is something I posted when I posted about a job specification, when they said a knowledge of OSHA legislation is an added advantage. Now, these are the legislation they are talking about, your ability to know these things. The reason an employer is employed as a safety supervisor personnel is for you to guide against them falling victims to the violation of OSHA law. So you are expected to know these things so that you can protect your company from falling victims to or breaching these rules. And also you are expected to know the rights of workers under OSHA, so that when they exercise this right, you will not be retaliating unnecessarily. So that is one of your job as a safety supervisor or personnel. You have to know these things, know these rules, so that you can work with them and guide against your company violating any of such rules. So we'll end here today. I hope the lecture was clear. So next up, if there is any question, we'll ask. We'll meet by 8 o'clock. You ask your questions and I will answer you. Thank you very much and God bless you.